up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, hello and welcome. In today's video, I am finally getting around to playing with the new Somber Garden palette from Shellwe Makeup in collaboration with Freya86. I say that because this palette launched back in August. I did order it on launch and it had a little bit of a journey getting to me. I don't know exactly what happened, but somehow it got misplaced in the warehouse and it never actually shipped out. The brand was fantastic, very helpful, very quick, and they did end up reshipping it to me. I don't know if they found the original one or if they ended up repackaging and shipping it out to me, but either way they were very quick and I finally have it and I'm really excited about this. Now this is the second collab palette that I have from Freya86. The other one I actually just reviewed. It was the Quignon Floating Life palette. Beautiful formula, not my perfect color story. Honestly, I probably should have skipped out on it because it is very gray leaning, but I saw so many people creating beautiful looks with it that I just had to have it. Lesson learned, you don't need everything that everybody is creating beautiful looks with. But the color story in here is my kind of color story. But let me show you what the packaging looks like first because I love the Shellwe artwork. I love the attention to detail. I think it's absolutely beautiful. And the color story in this one, I love it. I love the blues with the greens, this purple over here. This multi-chrome is absolutely gorgeous. I cannot wait to put it all over my lid. It is this really pretty like green to gold to purple multi-chrome. I don't know if you can see all the flips right here. Hopefully in the swatches and whenever I turn the lights down and stuff, you will be able to. But I'm excited about this color story. I have played with Shellwe before and I do really enjoy their formula. So I'm excited to see if their formula is the same across the board or if it kind of fluctuates like some other brands do. I will let y'all know. But this is the mini version. This one retails for $36.99. They do have a full-size version as well in this palette, and that one retails for $58.99. Now, I think this might be the last mini size palette that I purchased from the brand just because I feel like the pan size is just the tiniest too small for me. If it had been just a little bit longer and the tiniest bit wider, this would be a perfect pan size, but for me, it's just a little hard to get my fingers into. In fact, I do have a full-size palette from the brand. Let me grab that really quick so I can show you all the size difference. I have not played with this one yet. It is coming very soon in a video of like multiple C Beauty palettes in one video. Here it is. But this is what the full-size palette looks like. So holding them up next to each other, you can see that there is a big size difference. So not only is the one, the mini one, a little bit like shorter, but it's also not quite as wide either. If you hold them up next to each other, you can see the size difference. And then the pans on the inside are significantly smaller. So this is a full-size palette. You can see it as like your normal standard round pans. And then the ones in the mini, which I have already showed you, but I'm going to show you again so you can see them side by side. You see how they're just a little bit too small? Personally, I find the price difference to be worth it just because it makes it a little bit easier to dig into the palette and create my looks, but it's all to each their own. You do you, whatever floats your boat. But I will have this palette listed and linked down below in the description box, as well as everything else that I use in this video to create these looks. So per usual, if you're ever curious about anything I use in any of my videos here on my channel, always check the description box. I squeeze as much information as I possibly can into that tiny little space. But let's go ahead and zoom in, prime my eyes, and get to creating these two looks. Okay, so for my first look, I think I want to go into these greens down here and maybe a pop of this purple as well. I know I definitely want to do this multi-chrome all over the lid. So I think I'm going to go ahead and start with this olive green shade right here. Shellwe does not have shade names on their palette, so I'm just going to kind of point to the shade that I'm using. But I'm going to go ahead and start there. Now I have gone ahead and primed my eyes with my Beauty Bay eyeshadow base. This is in the shade 2. It will be linked down below. But like I said, I'm going to start with this really pretty olive green shade right here. And I am going to go ahead and pick that up with a BK Beauty 201 brush, and I'm going to go ahead and start by fluffing this into a majority of my crease. So I'm going to start by packing the shade on first, just so I can get the full pigment payoff that I want, and then I'll go ahead and start kind of fluffing it out and dispersing and blending the shade. Now from what I have learned from Shellwe based off of the one palette that I have played with, their shades are a little bit softer in pigmentation. They are more buildable, but you don't get any fallout or anything like that. I don't get patching or skipping. I find them to be very easy to work with, but they're not going to be nearly as punchy as what I have found in Narimi, Girl Cult, Cryptine, and even the Quignon palettes. So kind of something to keep in mind, but I love that shade. It is very pretty. Next, I want to go into this plummy purple shade right here. So I'm going to go ahead and pick this one up with a BK Beauty 203 brush, and I'm going to start to press this in to my outer corner, building up the depth and definition. And I'm not going to bring it very far over. I'm just going to kind of lightly blend it into that olive green shade that I put down. And I am going to go in and just like really kind of blend out this outer edge and just make sure that everything is soft and blended. I don't want any harsh lines, and I don't want anything to mud up, which is why I'm not going over really far with this purple shade. For my lower lash line, I want to go into this shade over here, this really pretty like murky muted teal shade. So I'm going to go ahead and pick that up with a Singe Beauty EO2 brush, and I am going to start by kind of pressing this along my lower lash line, kind of pressing and swiping. I'm not doing back and forth motions, but I want to make sure I have that full pigment payoff. And then once I have the shade down, I can go back with back and forth motions and really make sure that it's nice and blended and evenly dispersed. And I am going to bring that over to the inner corner, but I'm not going to bring it in to the inner corner. I'm going to kind of leave that open for something else. I haven't decided yet what we're going to do, but for now I'm going to leave it open. All right, for all over the lid, I want to go into this multi-chrome right here. Now, normally I prime my lid with my NYX glitter primer, but since these are too small for me to get my fingers into, I am going to go in with a brush. So instead of using that, I'm just going to spray it with some MAC Fix Plus. So like I said, we're going to go into this multi-chrome right here. I'm going to pick this one up with a BK Beauty 206 brush. I have found that this is really good for applying shimmers on the lid. If you've been here, you've heard me talk about how I can never seem to get them to pick up with a brush and apply, and I finally figured out this is the brush for me. So I'm going to kind of dig this one into that shade really good, the best that I can. I'm going to spray it, like I said, with my MAC Fix Plus, and I'm just going to start by applying this all over my lid. I'm kind of pressing it on my lid first, and then I will start to blend it out once I have that shade on the lid. But look at how beautiful that is. I cannot wait for y'all to see all the shifts with this one. All right, y'all, so this is the first completed look with this palette, and I think this is beautiful. I love the color combination. I love these kind of grungy, murkier tones, but they don't pull too dark for my fair skin, and I really appreciate that. Now, I did end up taking that multi-chrome over into my inner corner as well. I didn't dip into the palette again or anything like that. I just kind of took whatever was left on the brush and just kind of pat it on the inner corner, and I think it looks absolutely beautiful. But let me show you what I used to finish up this look so we can go ahead and move on to our second look with this palette. So in my lower waterline, I went in with a Victoria Beckham Satin Kajal liner in the shade Seafoam. I lined my lid with my ZC liquid liner and then finished everything off with my Charmacy volumizing mascara. But let's go ahead and start creating our second look, because I definitely want to play with these blue shades right here and probably a little bit of like this tan. And then as far as the shimmer goes, I haven't quite decided what I want to do yet. I'm thinking this one and maybe this one right here, but let's go ahead and start with this really pretty like tan neutral beigey shade first. So I am going to go ahead and pick this one up with a BK Beauty 212 brush, and I'm just going to basically fluff this in my entire crease all over, kind of bringing it up to the brow bone. I'm going to start by patting it first, and then I'll go back with like back and forth windshield wiper motions to kind of blend everything out. All right, so with that same brush, I'm gonna go into this really pretty dusty denim blue shade right here. I just made sure I wiped it off really, really good. And I'm basically gonna do the same thing. I'm just not gonna take it up quite as high as I did with the last shade. So I'm gonna start by kind of pressing this in to my crease. It's okay if it gets on my lid a little bit. And I'm gonna, like I said, press it into my crease, and then I'm gonna go ahead and start blending everything out and just kind of softening up this look, blending it into that first shade. I didn't really need that first shade. I don't know if it's completely necessary, but I still wanted to test out the formula, see what the performance was like, the pigmentation and all of that, but you can 100% skip that shade if you don't want it. So I'm just taking that same shade and I'm just wrapping it around the entirety of my eye. So I went into my inner corner, I'm bringing it onto my lower lash line, just kind of everywhere all the way around to give me one nice cohesive look. And then we're gonna go back with that darker blue shade in just a minute and deepen everything up. All right, so now we're gonna go into this navy blue shade right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick this up with a BK Beauty 211 brush, and I am going to start by packing this on to my outer corner, building up that depth and definition. And then once I have that shade down, I'm gonna go in with circular motions and just kind of start to blend everything out, blow it out a little bit. I wanna kind of have it fade into everything else. And I will bring it down onto the outer portion of my lower lash line as well, just kind of mimicking what I have going on up here. But that is really, really pretty. This is very buildable. You can see the more I put on my lid, the more it's building up that pigmentation, and I'm not getting any fallout. I'm not getting any patching or skipping, and the shade is blending out effortlessly. Okay, for all over the lid, I'm gonna start with this shimmer down here. Again, I am going to apply it with a brush, so I'm not gonna put on any NYX glitter primer or anything like that. So once again, I'm gonna go in with my BK Beauty 206 brush, pick that shade up, spray it with my MAC Fix Plus, and we're gonna start to apply this all over the lid. I might even bring this one over into the inner corner as well. I think this is just about empty. I do have a backup sitting over here. But I'm gonna start again by pressing this all over my lid, and I'm gonna bring it all the way over, and I am gonna bring it into the inner corner as well, just on top of that first dusty blue shade that I put down. But that is really pretty. It has a little bit of a purple flip to it, but it almost has like a blurple undertone to it, if that makes any sense. With that same brush, I'm gonna go into this shimmer down here. This one does look like it's a little bit on the chunkier side. It definitely has like that blue purple undertone to it. But I'm gonna pick it up with that same BK Beauty brush, the 206. Yes, that's what it is. And again, spray it with my MAC Fix Plus. There's a lot of repetition when it comes to this. And I am going to press this on my lid right where that first shimmer and that matte shade meet. I've never done this with a brush before, so I don't know if it's gonna give that same effect. I might need to go back with my finger and try and squeeze it in there and see if I can do this. Yeah, we're gonna try it that way because it's just not giving me the same effect. So I'm gonna dig my finger in there, and I'm gonna go right here and just press that shade and kind of blend it into everything else. Yeah, much better. All right, y'all, so this is the second completed look with this palette, and I think this one turned out really pretty as well. I'm really liking that blue smoky look that we have going on over here, and those shimmers on the lid are very pretty. They almost have like a silver reflection to them, especially next to the blue, but when I move my head, I can see that little bit of purple as well. But let me go ahead and show you what I used to finish up this look so we can turn on the light, show you all the shift, the sparkle, and then I can give you my first initial impression thoughts on this palette. So in my lower waterline, I went in with a Give eyeliner in the shade Bathwater, and then I went in with my same ZC liquid liner and my Charmacy volumizing mascara. All right, y'all, so there we have it. 2 completed looks with the Somber Garden palette from Shellwe Makeup in collaboration with Freya86, and I think this is beautiful. I love the packaging. I love the artwork, the attention to detail. I think Shellwe has such beautiful artwork on all of their palettes across the board, and I think the color story in here is beautiful. It is very well curated. I think the color combination is beautiful in here. I will say I do wish that this had maybe been either like a really pretty lavender shade or maybe a really deep green shade. I just don't have a preference for this shade in a palette. It is very close to my skin tone. It doesn't really do anything for me, but that is personal preference. Also, this blue shade right here did come off a little bit more gray and cool tone than what I prefer. It is still very beautiful, and that 100% has to do with the fact that I am very cool undertone. So something to take in consideration whenever you're looking at colors in a palette. Your undertone definitely plays a key factor in how they're going to come off on your skin. But formula wise, I found it to be immaculate in here. It is exactly what I expected based off of my previous experience with the brand. The mattes in here are buildable, but they are also pigmented, very easy to work with. They blend out beautifully. I didn't get any patching, skipping, or fallout or anything like that. And the shimmers in here are beautiful. Now, I did not get to this one over here, but I have no doubt that it is beautiful on the lid. This one is a little bit more on the textured side, and I did get some fallout with it, but it just kind of fluffed away. It wasn't impossible. It's not accentuating texture or anything like that, but I did find it to be easy easier to pick up with my finger than I did with a brush. But this multi-chrome, absolutely gorgeous. I want to create so many looks and pop this all over my lid. It is shifty, it is reflective, it is very smooth, it's not emphasizing any texture on my lid, and I think it's beautiful. Overall, this is a fantastic color story, fantastic palette. I love the quality in here. I am really enjoying Shellwe as far as the brands that I have tried from C Beauty. They are probably one of my top 2 or 3 formulas so far that I have tried, but beautiful palette. Big congratulations to Shellwe and Freya86 for their collaboration on this palette. I cannot wait to create more looks with it, and I am so excited to have this as a new addition into my collection. But that is going to complete this video. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Let me know all of your thoughts down below. Have you tried Shellwe before? Did you pick up this palette? Which look was your favorite? I want to know it all. Let's have that conversation later at that comment section. And as usual, I want to thank you all so much for watching my video and spending your time with me. It truly does mean so much to me. And if you like this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up before you leave. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and click on that notification bell so that you can be notified of all my future posts here on my channel. I do post quite a few videos every single week, and I wouldn't want you to miss one. But until my next video, have a good one. Bye.